Alright, here we're looking at a word problem. I know we love word problems, but I'll show you how this one's not going to be too bad. The directions are a little bit helpful. It does tell us that we should set up a proportion and then solve. So let's read the problem. We have a tree casts a shadow 9 feet long. So that's your tree. A 3-foot tall pole casts a shadow 3.75 feet long. Find the height of the tree. So here is what's happening. You've got a tree. Sometimes I'm a visual person. I like to draw pictures. Here's the tree. We know that the tree is casting a shadow. So if the sun is up here somewhere, our shadow, here's our shadow along the ground right here. So remember, shadows are on the ground, and it's telling us that this shadow is 9 feet long. So that's what we know. We also have a 3-foot tall pole, so kind of a short pole over here. I'll just draw this one separately. This is not drawn to scale, so there's our pole. It's 3 feet tall, so I know that this is 3 feet. And this is casting a shadow that's 3.75 feet long. So the sun's coming at it. This shadow right here is 3.75 feet. Now, with proportions and word problems, there's certainly more than one way to set this up. I personally like to pair things together, just kind of as an easy way to approach the problem. What we're looking for is the height of the tree. So this is how tall the tree is over here. That's what we don't know, so that'll be x. So you have two heights that you're dealing with. You've got the height of the tree, and you've got the height of the pole, and two shadows that you're dealing with. So what I tend to do is I will say, okay, here's the height of my tree. I'm going to put it over, because remember I'm setting up our proportion, over the height of the pole. So here's my tree on the top, and here's the pole on the bottom. So as long as I can keep that information straight, that tells me what to do over here on the right side. So on the right side, on the top, I need to put some information here from the tree, because I have my tree information on the top of my proportion. So I go back to the tree. The other thing I know is its shadow is 9 feet long. So I'm going to go ahead and say that the tree has a shadow of 9 feet. Now I'm looking for some matching information, but this time it has to be from the pole, so that my poles are on the bottom of, my pole information is on the bottom of my proportion. So I can see I have a shadow measurement over here as well, 3.75 feet. Honestly, for these word problems, that's the hardest part. If you get it set up correctly, 99% of the time you're going to get this right, unless you make a little, calculation mistake. But that's the hard part. If we put one of those numbers in the wrong spot, then we do our solving, we don't end up with the right answer. So think about your labels. Like I said, I had the tree information on the top and the pole information on the bottom, and then I was guaranteed to get this right. So you have a fraction equal to a fraction. Our best way out of this is to cross multiply. So we're going to do 3.75 times x. Remember, when you cross multiply, you set it equal to the other diagonal. 9 times 3 is 27. And now we have our nice little one-step equation to solve for x. We're going to divide both sides by 3.75, because that was multiplication right there. So you divide, cross those off. So x, which is the height of our tree. Now because that's a decimal, I'm okay with a decimal answer. I don't have to try to reduce. I'm not going to reduce with a decimal within the fraction anyway. So I just grab my calculator and I divide that, and I get 7.2. Now anytime you have a word problem, you do want to make sure that your answer has a label, because they're saying find the height of the tree. So we're saying it's 7.2, but 7.2 what specifically? If you notice, all of our measurements are in feet, so that means our tree is 7.2 feet tall. So on these word problems, focus on the setup, make sure that's correct, and then the rest of it will be a breeze.